Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Local Influencers Podcast. I'm your host, Abel, and today I am joined by Alex from El Loco Collective and now the People's Market. Alex, thank you very much for joining me today, sir.
Thank you for having me here, man.
For sure. So, for those of you listeners who have been around since season one, know that I did interview the previous person who ran El Loco Collective, Sam. Shout out to Sam. Love her, still love her. And she passed on the reign to Alex here. And I am excited to kind of get into what Alex has planned for El Loco Collective. And then also now the People's Market. I think that was just announced as of the recording of this week, or I believe it was this week it was announced. So, Alex, how did you get involved with El Loco Collective in the first place? Like, to kind of take over the reins. That's a big deal because I know how much Sam had to do with El
hmm
Loco, and how did you kind of get involved with just that now the organization in general?
Well, it was, ooh, well, I wasn't very, what's the word? I guess like really hands-on or deep with a
Mm,
local collective and Sam. I mean, I had met Sam at a lot of the people's markets and a lot of other markets that would happen in downtown Corpus. And, getting to know her, she was a really cool person, really interesting, um, I guess, character. And
yeah.
it was more like I was meeting with a friend of hers, giving them some of my artwork and they were telling me about how Sam was gonna do her own like self discovery trip, and that she was moving out of Texas, and that El Loco was either gonna be up for grabs or possibly done with, like it just wasn't gonna be there no more. And as an artist, I saw a lot of potential in El Loco Collective, and just to see an organization or business like that just kind of like go down and not exist no more, especially in a place like Corpus. I mean, come on, I couldn't let that happen.
Yeah.
And especially since a lot of people were involved with it or kind of relied on it for help selling their work or just help in general. And it was just a really good opportunity for me just to talk with her and be like, hey, I'm an art student. I have some friends that'll help me. I have some local artists I know that would be more than happy to help keep this going and keep this alive. And next thing you know, we were just messing each other on Instagram and she handed me the reins.
It's awesome. So, I know that the holiday season and everything, COVID spiked, all these things have happened, right, since you've kind of taken over the reign of it. And so what are you don't have to give us all your secrets, but what are some ideas or things that you can share with the listeners that you have planned for a local collective, or what are some maybe like future goals, like in the next few years? What are your aspirations for a local collective?
Well, we have two very, I guess, big focus. One is that because we notice either if it's in different collectives, art studios, or markets, they really focus heavy on just like the local Corpus Christi artists. And yeah, we want to support, always support local, always support local artists, creators, musicians, anybody. But we also want to try and outreach to other surrounding cities. I mean, we want to reach out to Port Aransas or any artists or painters in the Mustang Islands, Port Aransas, and oh, I forgot the other place. Um, I'm not good with like
Just like
naming cities,
yeah,
but
just
like
like
just the general
surrounding
area.
areas. Yeah.
And so we were able to go to different markets in like other neighboring cities, and I was able to meet a lot of different artists, even some young artists. Kids that are still in high school or middle school, and you see that they have a real good talent for artwork. And uh, to me, like reaching out to people like that it's such a good thing to do, especially because a lot of artists they doubt themselves. And a lot of them believe that, oh well, I don't have that great skill to put my artwork out there. All they need is that little push, and next thing you know, they have that confidence. They have that experience now with selling their artwork and going to events and stuff like that. And that's what we kind of want to focus on. We want to help give those, up and rising artists that little push so that way they can go out and do the things they want to do. Because I mean, as an artist, even if you sell your work for $5 or even like $1,000, just selling to your work to somebody or finding someone that's like interested in your work is such a it's like opening a gift on Christmas. So you just
Mm.
have that joy and just that like that real good feeling that, oh, I found something that loves my work. But aside from that, we also want to do a lot of big events in corporate. And one idea we have planned is we want to do sort of a city takeover. So I've been talking with a few organizations and artists from San Antonio, some from Austin, and a few from Houston. And we have this whole plan where we'll have a 2 day block party somewhere in downtown Corpus, and we'll invite the artists and local businesses from those cities. They come down and kind of invade Corpus. We'll have live bands, vendors, and artists just showcasing their work from that city. And then vice versa, a couple months after that, we'll have some Corpus Christi vendors and artists invade whatever city came in to do that, just to kind of like, um, I guess, help give those artists um, more exposure. I guess more
Mhm.
area to sell their work and place their work at. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, it's always good to sell your stuff locally because usually that helps a lot. But I feel like the more help we give outreach and like that, the more help we give of having like one of the local Corpus Christi artists sell the work in Houston or Dallas and places like that. I mean, I feel it as an artist that's better. That's I mean, it's more exposure, it's more experience, and then you, of course, more networking, more connection with other artists and other people. So for sure, we would love to kick off and do a big old city invades Corpus or Corpus invades whatever city, and just have this big old block party and everyone's enjoying themselves, everyone's listening to music, checking out some new artwork, some new creators and new businesses. So yeah, those two are like our big goals right now for this year.
That's awesome. I love those ideas. You say like supporting local, and I just said that earlier today. Like the my podcast, the local influencers, I started with just wanting to interview people here in the coastal Bend area, and that was season like 1 and 2, and then I opened it up to San Antonio in the Valley, and just going into the next couple of seasons, I'm opening up to all of Texas, and I figure like local isn't necessarily mean just local here. It means
Mhm.
whatever someone is doing in their local community. And so to me it's like you're not supporting a Walmart, you're supporting a boutique somewhere, even if
Yeah.
it's in Eagle Pass or Laredo, or it's a small boutique and it's not the big dogs, it's not these big stores. It's you're still supporting small local businesses, even though they're not just in your community, but they're you're helping another local community thrive. And I think all together that makes the state, all of us better, the state and everyone. So I kind of have, I love that vision like that you have, and that's kind of the track and trajectory that I have for the podcast going. So it's funny that we're talking at this time because that's what we're doing. And so now, besides that event, like let's talk about the People's Market. So for our listeners that may not be familiar with the People's Market, or because there's so many markets here in town. There's a art walk. There's this. There's so many things happening in Corpus, and if people listening don't know, just check your social media. There is tons of things happening here in town. You just have to look for them. So for the people listening, can you kind of give our listeners an idea of what the People's Market is, and then how that came about? You again, that was just announced of the recording of this week. How that kind of
Mhm.
happened.
Well, the People's Market, it's it's almost like every other market that happens in downtown Corpus, except there's one thing about it. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
There's one thing about it that to me shows off, like shows how special it is. Because what first drawn me to that market or like doing the People's Market was that they always had an organization or something in the center of the whole market that they would donate for, that they would advertise for, and they did a lot of stuff with. I believe the name is Casa, the Purple Door.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to remember the other one. One organization was providing jackets for kids, so that way they won't be freezing during the winter and everything. And they would have just a lot of organizations like that. And every market I've been to, Like, yeah, they'll always promote that, oh, proceeds will go to this and that. But I remember the People's Market was the first market I went to where there was an organization dedicated to being the center of attention for the whole market. And I would just see all the other vendors donate their proceeds or like even give them some products for them to like raffle off in this little basket. And it was just really cool to see that. But besides that, I mean, the People's Market's located right there by Fresco's at the I think it's North Chaparral,
Yeah.
Chaparral.
Hmm.
Yeah, I always struggle with trying to pronounce that name.
The North
But
Chaparral Street.
yeah, there you go,
Yeah.
Chaparral.
Mhm.
It's located there. They always have it monthly. I think Monica had done it every third Sunday of the month, and recently I know she announced, in late 2021 that it's just become a huge hassle, and that she was gonna take a little break from it, fix some stuff up, and then get right back to it. And I ended up talking with her a bit, telling her that, hey, you know, me and my organization and my team will be more than happy to like help support you in any way because we want to keep the People's Market going. So I told her if she needs any help, let me reach out to a local collective or any of my teammates, and we'll be more than happy to volunteer to help out. Well, then she offered, saying that, well, if you like, I can just hand over the reins to you because she wants to focus more on her business and
And that's
handling.
Monica from 2020 vintage, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And anybody doing their business and doing a big event like the People's Market, it's a lot of hassle. There's a lot of stuff into it that you have to be careful for. There's a lot of planning, and there's a lot of just making sure that every vendor's going to set up there in time, and that there's everything, everything's going to work out. And so I would understand that, and it was just good just to talk with her a bit and like get things going and see how she's going to. She was being really helpful and giving me the information for the market and telling me, okay, this is what we always did. And she made me promise a lot just to keep a lot of the special things about the People's Market, keep it going. Find organizations to focus on outreach to a lot of local businesses and local vendors, and switch it up a bit. Always try and get some new people to come in. Offer some chances to other artists, other vendors and people. And so hopefully, I'm hoping that I can be able to do that no problem and reach out to those artists and reach out to those first timers that are nervous about a market. I want to be able to help them out and show them that the People's Market, we care about the people and the local businesses. We want to outreach to them and help them achieve that goal that they have for the year, even if it's just making a couple bucks in the market, selling a couple pieces of work. We want to help them reach that goal. And so that's the one thing that I hope that the People's Market, um, I guess, has their special touch with. And I'm hoping that's what a lot of people see, and that we can keep the People's Market as popular and as important to downtown Corpus as it was in the past.
That's awesome, and I love Monica. Hi, Monica, if you're listening.
Mhm.
She was on one of my first seasons, and so I really enjoy her. She's such a pleasure. Um, but what from what I gather from you, you seem to be very you want to be very involved in the community. You are very involved in the community. What drives you to do that? What makes you want to be involved in the community and do so much, like taking on El Loco and the People's Market and reaching out to even other cities and what drives you to do that?
Well, I mean, I've I was born and raised in a small town in Central Texas, and all my life, all I've known is just that small, tight knit community. People always helping each other out, and everyone, yeah, everyone says in small towns, like, oh, everyone
Hmm.
knows each other's businesses. But that's what I like. I like that people knew about each other. That people know about, oh, this person's business is going very well, or like, hey, go talk to this person. They're very talented in painting landscapes and painting trees. Like, I'm asking to paint a mural for your business. And I know the city of Corpus, or to me, it's such a big city. And just to try and like form that tight knit community and just like help people kind of like bounce off each other on information and like because a lot of businesses or like opportunities I had were from other artists or even my professors at TAMUCC just telling me that, hey, there's a business here that wants a mural done. Here's their phone number. Go talk to them. And there'll be other people where they'll be like, hey, I heard that you're offering to help out other um, artists, art students sell their work. They would hand me their information, be like, contact them. They are amazing painters, or they're amazing with doing the 5 minute spray painting paintings. And there'll be other people saying, oh, they're really good at caricatures. Talk with them. Maybe they can set up with you. And just doing stuff like that, I really enjoy. Like I really can't explain why I
Hmm.
like being so involved in the community because I know a lot of people see it as work and they're like, oh, I don't have the time. I mean, I barely have the time to begin with, but just doing stuff like that, it feels really good, especially when you're helping other people and that you see that you helping them. Next thing you know, they get inspired and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna go help out some other people that I know that are nervous about doing this and that. So let me reach out to them and help them out. And it's all I've known. Just like always helping your community, always helping the locals. That's all I've known in my life growing up, and so that's something I want to keep making sure I have. That I also pay forward and help out any other community.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I totally agree with you. Like I like the whole time thing. Like I think before we started recording, like we were talking about everything that we have going on, and like I told you, like I don't sleep really, and it's just you make time. You make the thing is like you make time for the things that you love or you want to do, right? Like you make time for them.
Yeah,
There's days that I work 8 or 9 hours a day at my day job, but before work, I'm either at the gym at 4 in the morning or I'm writing for an hour before work. And then after work, I have 3 podcasts lined up. I think today, like I told you, you're my sixth podcast today.
yeah,
I I have three more to go before I'm done for the day, and then it just is never ending. But it's like you make time for
yeah.
things you love, and then like this podcast in particular I do because I like to shine a light on, like you said, helping people that wouldn't necessarily have a platform like a podcast or it's kind of just getting the word out there to a new audience that they may not be able to reach on their own just through their own
Mm.
like Instagram. You know what I mean? And so podcasting is like my form of art, one of my form of arts, because I am a creative in general. So I can't draw though. I'm not an artist. I can write and I can podcast, but I cannot draw.
Hey, but I mean, art can be anything, man. If you're a
Yeah,
great writer, or if you love baking, or if you just love cleaning your cars like in a super detailed way, like everything's super shiny. I mean, anything can be considered art or an art
yeah,
form. So I
yeah,
mean, as long as you enjoy, it, you got the passion for it, and like there we go. That's
yeah.
you're a creator, you're an artist.
Yeah, see, everything you named, like I'm not a baker. I don't like to clean my car. I don't, so I'm not a jar. But like I said, I'll stick with writing and podcasting. That's my favorite things to do in the world. But even though writing is like it's also very torturous. Like it tortures me as well. So, uh, but
Hey,
yeah,
sometimes you gotta cry to make some artwork, man.
oh, believe me, I I know that is true. Like when my alarm went off this morning, I was like, I wanted to cry because the last thing I wanted to do was edit and upload a video to YouTube, and I had 3 YouTube videos I had to upload. I'm like, this is the last thing I want to do right now. But Alex, this is the time that we allow you to plug all of your social media handles, websites. Where can people find more about you, El Local Collective, and the People's Market?
All right. Well, I mean, if you wanna know more about me, or you wanna see the artwork or the stuff I've done, on Instagram, my main thing is, I just post mainly my artwork on there and what's going on in my life. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, it's Alex Alex dot esq dot art. It could be Alex esque art. And then if you want to check out our local collective, we have a Facebook and an Instagram. Mainly, we do everything on Instagram. And so all is it's just L Local Collective, just all that in lowercase. You should see the little L Local logo on there. And the Facebook is the same way, just L Local Collective. And the People's Market, it's the same as it's Monica's same Instagram account. We just, we have to make sure to switch all the,
Mm,
I guess the names and information and everything. So it should still be the People's Market CC text, TX.
yeah.
But yeah, reach out to me there, talk to me, let me know if you know anyone that wants to sell their stuff. Be more than happy to help y'all.
Awesome. And I will have the links to all of that in the show notes. So if you're listening on a cell phone device, all you'll have to do is scroll up and click on whatever link you'd like, and you can follow him and get in touch with Alex in any way that you're interested, whether you're a vendor, whether you're an artist, or want to collaborate or anything. You can just click that and get in touch with him. So I will have that there for you. Alex, thank you again very much for being here today. I appreciate your time, sir. It was nice to finally, like I said before the podcast, nice to finally meet you in, like, kind of in person over Zoom.
Yeah,
We've,
hopefully this
yeah,
won't be the last time either.
for sure. Yeah. So, and for all of the listeners out there, wherever you are listening, please head out into your community, make a positive change, and do something good today. Have a great day, everyone.